First, we talked to obviously Joe, the other half of the top of the pyramid in pulling the Stars Championship Series off at the beginning of this year. And he was like, man, we're doing some cool stuff. Christian was integral with like a few different ideas, obviously branding each race as its own event, working on the marketing hard yourself. Especially, obviously, the series has some of the most active social medias out of anybody in karting. This year it showed we've been massive turnouts for the series for the first two races. We've got to have all that footage that we've streamed, obviously, here with Kart Chaser's side. But, going from 2020 with the rebrand, officially kind of relaunching the program as Stars, into 21. I mean, it's not like you did, I wouldn't say you did less work, but 2021's growth from 2020 is dwarfed, I would say, by the growth that we've seen in 22 back to 21. Did you expect that to be such a massive growth this year over the winter compared to where it was from 20 to 21?
I mean, we kind of had an idea that it was going to continue to grow, just based on communicating with people in the industry and kind of the trajectory that we had. But man, it's been a pleasant surprise to see the support this year. Like the Stars families come out in full force. Like you said, we've averaged just over 200 entries at the first two rounds so far this year. Primarily, obviously, going to the facilities like Newcastle and GoPro helps that. But it seemed, going to GoPro, we kind of anticipate picking up the locals. And I think there were only about 25 competitors that ran with us at GoPro that didn't run at Newcastle as well. So really, man, just the support from the community has been great. And I think people are starting to catch on, man. It's just about having fun and trying to make badass go-kart races happen. So I think as long as we stick with that and that whole like family vibe, it'll continue to head the way it's heading.
Speaking of that, this weekend you were down at Nashville. Obviously, a good friend of the show, Race Liberante, and your partner with the Off the Grid podcast was set to run Trans Am. Bad luck for the main, but was quick. But the Nashville Music City Grand Prix, that's been hailed, and I haven't made it out there. I was super bummed that I couldn't get out there this year or last year. But for the 2 years it's run, it's been hailed as like a massive improvement or just an awesome event for IndyCar, for all the series that come there, for the city to come out and the promoters. Is there a lot you took away from that weekend? Like, man, this was cool from just a race event in general, much less anything with karting?
Yeah, absolutely. With my, past experience with programs like IndyCar and SRO with like the GT World Challenge, taking the best practices from those guys is obviously anything we can do in karting to make it more like what people are going to end up in someday is beneficial for everybody. But that event down in Nashville, man, it was definitely one of the most exciting, unique events I've ever been to in 2.5 decades going to the racetrack. The fans were just so excited to be there. Everyone was so engaged. I've never seen so many people inside of an IndyCar paddock in my life. Just with people getting like that full access pass. They had, other things like the stadium trophy trucks are a big hit with the fans. Obviously, TA2, which our friend Race ran, GT Americas, the Indy Lights, and then obviously IndyCar. And, an event like that I think is important because it's bringing motorsports and racing to a group that maybe isn't already race fans. If you go to an event at like a Mid-Ohio or a Sebring, chances are the people that are there have gone to every race that year at Mid-Ohio or Sebring. And an event like Nashville, it's a lot of people who know about the event because it's in their hometown and they're coming out to be a part of a cool event. And then hopefully they leave race fans. So I think that that's something like the ROC program obviously does really well. And it's something that we've internally maybe had some discussions about, adding a temporary race, even someplace like Nashville. What a cool city and just a cool vibe to have a racing event at.
Yeah, I mean that might break the sport up if we go to a place like Nashville and we get near downtown right there, man. That would give Vegas a run for its money. It looks like it's a really fun. I mean, for how quickly that city's kind of come forward over the last couple of decades, to be no different than like a Vegas or the East Coast,
It is huge, man. And we went, the track is within walking distance of Broadway, which is kind of like their, Las Vegas Strip area. We had actually like a party event with some of Race Liberante's sponsors and partners on Broadway that, just the live music everywhere you go. It's famous musicians everywhere you turn around. And even just taking things away from like the event itself had music and vendors and things like that. So that's stuff that we've even already kind of tried to bring into Stars with, at GoPro, obviously we had vans on board as a partner in the event. They gave away, you know, a couple $1,000s worth of stuff to podium finishers, working with companies like Summit and just trying to like make it feel like when you're there, it's a big deal, I think is like little things that really bring a lot to an event like that.
And so talking, obviously, we know Jersey's the immediate future. In just 2.5 weeks' time, we're on track at New Jersey Motorsports Park. But look into 2023, you know, are there any new ideas that you've got like coming in the pipeline? Like, man, I'd love to make this happen, or we're working on it, you know, anything like that before Stars Fest officially with the Airbnb?
I don't know that I can drop that one on Kart Chaser. I might have to save that for off the grid. We've got some stuff in the works that I think is going to blow people's minds. So yeah, I'm excited, you know, for one, to watch it keep growing and just really, man, it's the most fun that I have in a year. It's 4 weekends I look forward to, you know, regardless of the outcome. The people that work at Stars are some of my favorite people in the world. The people in the paddock at Stars, I know Aaron and Emery, obviously you guys have been there all year, and just seeing everyone kind of embody that karting community thing that we all know and love, man, I think that's what's special. So we've got some cool stuff in the works, and unfortunately, I hate to be a tease, but you're not getting it today.